RLabs South Africa, as a pioneering organization at the forefront of innovation, we are thrilled to introduce Ms. Christine Nicola-Tafel as its incoming Chief Executive Officer. High five! With a profound commitment to excellence and a passion for driving positive change, Christine's appointment marks an exciting new chapter for RLabs. Christine brings a wealth of experience and a dynamic perspective to a new position. Having demonstrated this leadership expertise in various capacities, we are so confident that Christine is the right person to lead RLabs. Christine, we want to hear from you today. Tell us more about Christine Nicola-Tafel. And what has your journey been like with RLabs?
Oh my goodness. I have to start from the beginning, of course. And that is in 2012. I remember this day so clearly when I walked up to you. I walked up to Renee and I asked her, what is this RLabs that everyone is talking about? So yes, my journey started out of curiosity. And 11 years later, of course, I didn't look back. So it's been, it's been exhilarating, challenging, moments I'm really proud of. You know, I got to see so many young people graduate. I got to form part of co-creations that turned into innovations and, you know, businesses that spun out of RLabs. And so it was always a fun time. And I mean, to date, I've been appointed as the Zlato chairwoman. I say chairwoman because I can.
I love it.
And so, yeah, like I always knew that about every 3 years, I needed something new. And so from heading up the Grow Leadership Academy program to heading up the Youth Cafe, Innovation Lab, RLabs Women, that was always my journey, and I absolutely loved that working across the organization meant freedom, and freedom was always given to me, and I mean I really appreciated that. So yeah.
Well, Christine, this is a new journey and one we all know and believe you will be successful in. Tell us how you first felt about hearing about this change that was coming.
So honestly, because of course I need to be really honest, I chose not to think much about it. And this has always been my attitude, because I believe that our thoughts were always a barrier to possibilities. And but very soon, in this last year, I realized, you know, this is it's definitely not about me. And I have gone through quite a bit of coaching, believe it or not. Life coaching, executive coaching. I had to, you know, learn to change some real toxic habits, you know, and that's the inability to say no without apologizing, of course, and learning to breathe and rest. You know, those are some simple, or like it seems insignificant, but quite major shifts that I needed to make. And you know, just in reflecting, I had to understand why, you know, why this kind of change, because I realized that this is deeply rooted, and the change was rooted. It came from within, and the responsibility is definitely beyond me, beyond my, you know, my personal comprehension. Therefore, it is important for me to be rooted in truth, so that what is produced is truth and in excellence.
Thank you so much, Christine, for sharing your heart.
Oh.
If you were able to go back in time, 10 years,
10 years!
what would you tell yourself about leadership that you didn't know back then?
Okay, so you actually allowed to love. You know, you're allowed to be kind, compassionate, and trustworthy. And lastly, you can be assertive and yet become a well-respected leader. I'd like to add another one, if that's fine.
Of course.
I very late in my journey, I realized that it's, I'm not expected to always have it all figured out. And my goodness, am I glad I learned that. Yeah.
That's a really good one. I think it's never too late in life to learn that and take that. I'm definitely taking that little nugget from you. Thank you.
So, I mean, yes, I know it's been quite a journey for me, but I'm pretty curious. What are some of the learnings, Renee, you've learned in the last 14 years? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. If this was a series, we would definitely have 10 seasons. But on a serious note, the last 14 years, or at least 14 years ago, we were at a different place as an organization. I don't even think we could have been called an organization when we were starting out. But most importantly, I was at a different place. I was a completely different person. One of the things that I'm really privileged, that I find a privilege and I feel really blessed about, is that I was able to grow with the organization. So yeah, of course, we were building, we were exploring, we were innovating while growing, and at the same time finding our place in society. And for myself, as a woman, I grew up in Mitchell's Plain on the Cape Flats. I never thought that I'll be part of such a movement, such an organization. And even just dealing with, doubts. When we started out and we started exploring and experimenting and talking about innovation and using technology to reconstruct communities, and we used all these words and nobody understood what we were saying, Most of the time we were figuring it out as we were going along. And just, over the last, not even the last 10 years, I think, we've had different moments where we have shifted as an organization, and so even on a personal level. And being able to see that personally, along with our staff, with our team that has grown, with our community, with partners, with other organizations, with how everyone has grown over this period. And 14 years ago, the landscape of South Africa was really different. This was, to 2009. People were not into technology like they are now. People were not open-minded, and especially if you starting things on the grassroots, nobody expected anything good to come from our communities. And we were really looking at how do we build this narrative. We knew we had to do it, we didn't know how. But today I can confidently say that we are a strong organization and a movement of people from across various sectors of society, because we needed everyone. It wasn't just one person or 5 people. We needed all the sectors of society to actually come along. And we really believe that people are our world's most underutilized, yet its greatest resource. And of course, our mission is to unlock their potential.
Oh, thank you.
So back to you, Christine. Back to you.
Back to me.
What excites you most about being the CEO of RLabs South Africa?
Oh,
It can be more than one thing. It can be more than one thing.
of course, it's going to be more than one thing. Thank you. So, for people that actually know me, I'm a dreamer. And so everything I have ever accomplished, whether it's professionally or in my personal life, was once a dream dared, to put in action. And I finally get to dream again. And what makes this dream so significant is that it's the dream that will prevail legacy. And it's no longer my little pocket dreams. And so we are going deeper, we are going sharper, we are going wider. And yes, the foundation has been laid, the foundation has been sealed. And together we're dreaming and actioning on a much greater dimension.
I love that so much. I feel inspired. I'm really feeling inspired. After sharing that, what's your vision for RLabs South Africa under your new leadership?
So I envision a group of young adults, because we can't do it without the young people, right? Thriving in excellence. So excellence, I do believe, is going to be the new normal. I also believe that it's quite imperative that we are active, in our communities, because believe it or not, some people still haven't heard of RLabs. So I'm like, people need to know about RLabs in our communities and across our provinces. Lastly, and I think, which is it's even more important, is that RLabs South Africa will be, the benchmark for the future of RLabs. Yeah.
So, the future of RLabs, that's very interesting. So, when we started out, and I've shared this story with you many times, in 2009, when we got registered and we came up with a name, and our tagline was reconstructing communities through innovation. And then there was another chapter where we moved to RLabs, a social revolution, right? And this was the moment in time that we realized things are really hard to change. People's mindsets don't just change by itself. You have to be really systemic in bringing about that change. So our tagline was a social revolution, and we were really strong on this, that we need to revolutionize our communities. And then another chapter, in 2015, we moved over to making hope contagious. We felt that we did a lot of groundbreaking already, shifting some boundaries, actually a lot of them. And making hope contagious became our new tagline. And of course, we understand that hope not shared is not real hope. Okay, and so making hope contagious became something that we breathed, lived by. We printed on our t-shirts and our banners and everywhere else, because we really believe in this. And so the next chapter for RLabs is going to look different, and that's why we've realized where RLabs South Africa needs to go. It needs new leadership. Okay? For us that have led the organization up to this point, it was a different type of leader. And of course, I'm so excited to see, what's going to be coming of RLabs South Africa, and at the same time realizing that we have not reached our grand goal, our vision that we set out for 2030, and we need a change in leadership to be able to get us there. And with that, this big audacious goal that we have, how do you plan on ensuring that this remains a core focus of RLabs South Africa?
So, I want to say thank you. Thank you for the journey. And as I mentioned earlier, the foundation is sealed. The people, it's always going to be about people. I do believe that for the next chapter, it's going to be time for us as a people to focus. I have the strong sense of it's time for us to master, and that's how I believe we're going to get to our 2 billion audacious goal. So, yeah.
I love that, being able to master and focus. I think those are really strong words. Christine, anything you'd like to tell the community, our RLabs champions and partners that will be watching?
It's certainly not over yet. The possibilities are endless. And let me tell you, we are going to have so much fun.
How?
In making hope contagious. Oh.
I love how we can always laugh at ourselves. So Christine, I was thinking that, we're appointing a new CEO, and in this thought was, we've actually never appointed a CEO before. Remember, I just kind of got into the role by default as a founding CEO. You don't get appointed, you're just there and you take on the role. So you are our first CEO that we've officially appointed. And we know that this is going to serve as a benchmark for all our future CEO appointments, which is also exciting, We know that you will be the lighthouse, because you always bring light and laughter and joy into any space you step into. So we know you're going to be our lighthouse, but also the lighthouse to all who's going to go on this adventurous journey. And as we continue on this road, I know we use the word journey quite freely, but the journey always leads you to some place. And I love how we are able to write it as we go along. And yes, our journey is, to make hope contagious. My friend, my colleague, watching you grow from this young lady that was very curious and had lots of questions, starting out, taking on all these challenges, and even over the last 5 years, you've seen a lot, you've experienced a lot, but you've given so much more. And I don't think, I don't have any doubt in my mind that we would never have been able to be at this moment in time if you weren't part of the leadership team. And so the executive team have had many moments of deliberation. Actually, I think 2 years before we actually told you or asked you, we've been talking about this. We've been talking about the shift and the change of leadership that needs to happen in order for us to go into the next chapter. So this was not a decision that was taken lightly. We did seek counsel, we had advisors that were talking to us. I mean, you spoke earlier on about you getting a coach. I also needed a coach, to let go, because that's one of my weaknesses. And so we've been on this journey together, and we're finally at this moment in time. And I believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that you not only embody the culture of RLabs as we know it today, but you also embody the culture of RLabs in everything you do. Not just here, in every single aspect of your life. Everything you do, everything you stand for. You're a leader with extraordinary compassion. Oh my goodness, I think your compassion is, one of your strongest traits. And you have vision and you have drive. And I love how you bring your own personal vision, your own personal identity into that of RLabs, making sure that we are fulfilling what we set out to do. And if anyone can build on our existing impact in South Africa and push for the rapid expansion across the countries, reaching all those provinces you just told us earlier on about, we know that this Miss Christine Nicola Teufel, you definitely can.